Island. Make some noise for the Honorable Arnhim Eustace. Good night, United. I don't feel to speak tonight. After hearing my brother Terrence tonight, I really don't feel to speak. Terrence poured out his heart for his people. He has done that over and over in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But tonight, he was exceptional. Exceptional tonight. And I sincerely congratulate him, and I know that all of you feel the same as I do. He brings it home very clearly that the Unity Labour Party really is not interested in the people of the Grenadines. I notice I didn't say St. Vincent the Grenadines. Things he pointed out tonight, which he has pointed out many times before, and the passion with which he speaks, you know that is true. And you know, the truth really sets us free. And that's what he did tonight. He helped to set us free. But he helped to bury the ULP. I've been in Parliament now about 17 years. Unbroken. And we're coming now to another election. And I'm very concerned about the state of affairs in our country. The poverty, the decline in the economic status of our people, the pressure being brought on our population. In the last few weeks, I've been involved in a program we had at the office in providing school supplies for people who come to the office. We started that around the 15th of August, And up to yesterday, we were still doing that. We've been able to help hundreds of people with their children to the school, yeah. We have done that every year since 1998. Because I remember when I got into office the very first year, I made an application to get some books for the 3 constituencies that we held then, the 2 Grenadines and my own constituency. And they sent me 29 forms. That's what the government sent me, Ministry of Education. Sent me 29 forms to assist students in these 3 constituencies. 29 bare forms. That's all they could give to Union Island, Nairo, Canawan, Beckway, and St. Vincent, my constituency, East Kingstown. I sent back the forms to them. If I don't want it.
You're right!
And from that date, we started our own school program, giving out for the children.
God bless you.
And it built up over the years. And I remember in our best year, we were able to help 6,000 students because we were able to raise money even overseas to help students. I know we helped a lot of people this year, but because of the poverty in our country, even that is now being affected. Persons who in previous years used to come to the office and hand over their books to the children in the previous year, that is going away. You know why it's going away? Those persons now are selling the books in the market because they need the money too. So you have less people coming now to make contributions, and all that goes back to the poor management of this government, the poor economy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the increase in poverty of our people. It's really a very serious thing, you know? Really, really a very serious thing. I made it my business to go around to the market to see for myself. I don't always take people's word on certain things. And I remember having to deal with a lady in the office the day before, and a particular book cost $70, which she was lucky to get at our office. And I found out that a new one, in the same book, cost $70. The next day, when I went to the market, a lady was selling the same book, which had been used already, but she was selling it for $60. Normally, that book would have come to us to give away. But because of her own declining state, she was in the market selling those books. And a lot of people did that in this year. So even at that level, because of the increase in poverty, it's becoming harder to run programs like that. Because people are no longer in a position to provide assistance of that sort. I could tell you endless stories in relation to the problems that people are having in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That's true. Endless. I mean, I can speak until tomorrow morning, just on stories alone that I experience in my office, dealing with people who are looking for assistance. And I will say something too, no? There's another change that I noted. In the early years, nobody ever came to my office from the Grenadines for assistance. Nobody. Not so now, though. And that's another example of the change. There are things you can look at, you know, and you see how things are developing downwards with not much hope of upward movement. And I promise you, you know, the New Democratic Party will restore the fortunes of the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines when we get into office. I'm not joking with that. I am making that as a solemn promise to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We know what to do. We know far better than ULP what to do. We have a number of programs that we've decided on already, and those will come out in our manifesto. But the reality is that we have a better understanding and a clearer head in terms of what to do to restore our fortune. You know, today I was listening to some people discussing the teachers asking for a 1-month salary payment because for 5 years now, this is the 5th year, they haven't got a salary increase. And you know what my mind went back to? My mind went back to 2001 when they were negotiating with me for a salary increase. And I told them what the country could afford. Not what they needed. What the country could afford. If we paid more than that, we'll pay the price later on. But we're paying it now. We're paying it now. You were to get 30% they wanted to get. They didn't get 30% in the 12 years. Or 14 years that have passed since. And we were able then to pay 12, and I said that's what we'll do. But they twisted my thing and said I say not a cent for them. But I said not a cent over 12%. Because I knew, that is my training, I knew that we could not afford it in this country. I even went so far as to say if I have to lose the election, I'm not going more than 12%. And people tell me I'm foolish to say that. But it was the truth.
Reality, man.
It was the real situation. And if we had done what we were supposed to do from that time to now, we'll be in a better position today. Better position. And you know, sometimes I think back on these things and wonder what things could have been if we had acted differently back then. People are not interested in those things. But that's how you learn, you know. That's how you learn. Because what you do affects people's lives. It's not say you make a mistake. That's what we're doing now. There's a lot of suffering in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Up to yesterday, I was in my office. A lady came to see me. I know her quite well. She's from my constituency. And she just came and she sat at the desk and she said, Mr. Eustace, I don't have no food. Not a scrap of food for myself or my children. My light is cut off. My water is cut off. And I have nothing to eat this evening. And I couldn't send the children to school today. Because I had nothing to give them to go to school. What do you tell a person like that? What do you tell a person like that? You may have some funds and you can give them some help. But 2 weeks later, they're back again because they're not working. And nobody for them is working. So decisions you took years ago are still impacting on people's lives in a negative way now. That is what the NDP has to correct. And the NDP will correct that. NDP will correct that. I always remember, you know, Glenn Jackson making a statement. A blessed memory, you said? Oh, you said so. I always remember that statement. Because he was upset because they were pushing for 30% for civil servants. And I told them, you know, in the meeting, I don't talk too hard or nothing. I told her, listen, there's no way we could afford 30%. And if that happens, we'll be worse off. And we'll find ourselves later down the road, but we won't be able to give anything. And they pointed me to the government of Dominica and said, Dominica's salary is higher than St. Vincent. I said, Dominica will get in trouble. So what they are doing too was wrong. Next thing you know, the next year, Dominica laid off 1,800 civil servants. See? You know, so it's always easy to talk. You have to be able to analyze the elements of what you're speaking about and make a determination as how to see you see it going to result in. What is going to happen because of the decision you're taking. Bearing in mind that it affects people's lives. Bearing that in mind all times. Your decision is not for you. Your decision affects other people's lives. And when you make a mistake, you affect them in a very negative way. And that is part of the negativeness that we have today in our economy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So as I listened yesterday to the situation in relation to tourism in the whole of the Caribbean region, not only the English-speaking Caribbean, even in Puerto Rico and so on, St. Vincent and the Grenadines came last in stable arrivals for over 17 countries in this region. We came last. And we are the country that have the most beautiful waters and islands in the whole area. Who have less difficulty attracting people to our shows. But we come last. Last. Anguilla ahead of us, Cayman Islands, St. Kitts, Antigua, Puerto Rico, the VI, everybody. The head of St. Vincent. Everybody had an increase. We are the only country to have a decrease. The only one in 2014 to have a decrease. We can't continue on that basis. Every year we complain here on this side about our budget, where it always has a deficit. We don't have enough money to do the things we're supposed to do. And they try to hide it by patching in the figures. But we know when the figures are wrong, we know. The deficit this year is $133 million. And that is why the Tourism Authority ain't have enough money to go and promote tourism. Because the government don't have the money to give to the Tourism Authority. Because they're spending the waste money on wasteful things. And a lot of it they don't have. I hear the Prime Minister announcing how he has 400 million. I'm saying the Prime Minister is a liar. He doesn't have any money like that. That's designed to poor people at election time. If he had 400 million, he would have paid the teachers. You think we're stupid? Yeah. And tomorrow, Monday morning, the papers come out since we left St. Vincent. And my secretary called me this morning to try to find out what for Parliament. We didn't get our papers yet. They came out since we leave St. Vincent. And I now know there's another airport loan for 16 million coming back Monday. I don't know it's coming. I think it's 16 million US. For coming up Monday, and we haven't seen the paper yet. They're supposed to send out papers days before. Yeah. But we haven't seen it yet. You know, I understand that in November, that some of the people from Idiot and so on will now be walking out by Argyle.
All the way, all the way, all the way.
By Argyle. And you know, it means maybe that we are going to land a plane or two there for the elections. But the runway ain't finished yet, you know. And the airport ain't finished yet. So I'm waiting to see what is going to happen. And I know that more borrowings will come again. That thing is soaking us into the ground.
All the newspaper.
Soak innocent to the ground. And I'm saying to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, do not be fooled by these things, you know.
No.
You see those bridges they bought there, the things to take people passing the plane straight to the terminal building, and they drive through town with them and so on. Air bridges. They ain't going to work. No. There's a technical difficulty they have. They ain't going to work. I promise you that. And these things are very expensive, you know. There's more than $1 million one of them cost, you know. US. I want to know whether out of this loan that they're talking about now, what has happened to the 61 people whose lands they took for the airport who didn't get the money yet. 61 families, they haven't got a cent for the land and houses that have been taken away to build the airport. Just imagine you have a house cost $250,000 near the airport site, and they took away those things, promising to pay. 61 of the people since 2008 have not got 1 cent of the money.
Yeah, they have $400 million.
But they have 400 million to spend. So we must be stupid here. You know, when I think of some of the things that they get away with here, that people accept, just accept it. But it's not so. And it will become worse. When you look at the health situation in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we're one of the most backward countries in the world when it comes to matters of health.
That's so true. Amen.
One of the most backward. Since 2000, we paid the University of the West Indies over a 2-year period to develop a health insurance scheme for us for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Our intention was to start small, cover certain illnesses, and as time went on, we cover more and more illnesses. So we had a full-fledged running health insurance scheme. They never implemented it. We're going to bring it back now though, anyway. Because if we had that, half of the problems we're hearing about now with health and people can't get their jobs would not have been happening. Because that scheme would have now been 14 years old and operating. And many people have benefited from it. But where there is no vision, the people perish. And that's what we face when we have these negative types of administration as the ULP is, administering the affairs of our country. And you know, I don't know if it's just a matter of education, but we really get fooled very easily in St. Vincent sometimes. We take a lot for granted. Very often we don't sit down and think through, what does that really mean? What does it really mean? What is this something? What is it for me? How it affects my city, my constituency? A lot of that is just talk. But don't be surprised, you know, if you hear that they'll have staff walking out by Arnhim in November, you know. I ain't joking with that, you know. I'm just not saying that idly. That is the talk now. So you can get a Liat flight to land there before election. You pretend the airport nearly finished. So don't think it's a joke. It's not a joke at all. Some people get their letters to move already. No joke. No joke in that at all. The last time they wanted to do that, you know. Even it's even worse. But the airport ain't fenced yet. The runway ain't finished yet. So how are you going to land? Huh? You must be a landslide in truth. But seriously speaking, these are very, very serious matters for us as a people. You have that health, I don't know what to call it, the thing they're building out Georgetown. It's building now for 9 years. We're supposed to be dealing with some of the health problems we have. It's been built now for 9 years and still can't finish. The National Airport building now for years and years, every 2 years to finish, it can't finish. And it's not finishing now either. It's not finishing next year either. It's not finishing the year after that either. Because so much more is left to be done there. But they're far from being there to finish. But they're trying to give the impression to the public that everything is in order. But it's not. It is our business to think, to analyze things. International institutions don't approve an airport that ain't having no fencing. That's a security matter. You can't do those things. So we're going to have troubles with that. So Monday morning when you go up, assuming you have the fast ferry, I don't know how we're getting into Parliament or the fast ferry. But assuming they have the fast ferry Monday, when we go up, we'll be going straight into Parliament. From, you sure? No, I wasn't in the breakdown. So I know. But seriously speaking, these are matters all of us must keep our eyes on. What they mean for our children, what they mean for our families, what they mean for the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have to be serious about these things, very, very serious about them. You know, a lot of money is being wasted. And there's a lot of corruption in St. Vincent and Grenadines. They're refusing my question, which I put to the Parliament, which is supposed to be answered on Monday. They take it off the other people. The Speaker say he's not answering it. Yeah. But I will tell you one thing. That information will become public, whether they like it or not. And I'm saying that the two names that I called, one owes, at the time that the bank was closed, 2.5 million. And the other person owed over 4 million. So just in those two companies or people, I'm talking about $6 million plus. And I want to know where it's gone. And I will find out. I'll find out the state. It may not be in the bank at all. Yeah. And they were directors of the bank at the time, these two people. I'm not leaving that, so you know. They might be able to block it in Parliament by not answering a question. But I dig once, I dig twice, I will dig 3 times, you know. I will find it. When I find it, I'll make it public. There are too many things going on in this country which are unacceptable, and people will pay the price for what they do. I'm very annoyed about this matter, the level of corruption in our society. And all it is making us paupers. With 1 or 2 people having everything, and the majority of people having nothing.
It will be very expensive to go to St. Vincent in the airport up there.
Hello, yes, I agree with that. But it's a serious matter. It's a very serious matter. And all I'm saying to our people, that the new Democratic Party, we have given a lot of thought to a lot of these issues and how we are going to resolve them. I think Patel and Terence mentioned, and the info subjects we have said since 2010, you know, we have been saying that we'll pay the CXC fees for all Vincent and Grenadines students. All. We made that promise since before the last election, 2005 election, that we pay that, because that is a burden on a lot of people. There are women who, single persons, who brought the children. They're in school, they're doing 7, 8 subjects, 9, 10. But when the time comes now to pay the fees, they could only pay for 5 or 4. So they drop in the subjects that they're trained in. We will not allow that. Whatever you qualified for, we'll pay for every single student who is qualified to go through the exam. If you want to have some more children, No. They should be having less. No, but seriously speaking, it is an important matter. I saw a case earlier this year of a young lady who was registered for 9 subjects. In the end, she went for 4. She had to drop 5 for 1 of the money to pay the fees. How does a parent feel when they go through that kind of struggle? You know? When I found out about the thing, she was already in community college. Doing, not community college, already doing the subjects that she wanted. Those things are terrible. They shouldn't happen to anybody in our society. And that is why I agree with Terrence's presentation tonight. He's showing you a lot of the ills in our society which impact individuals in a very important manner and important in their lives and the future of their families. Many of you would have heard the lady who called in and Lucid King's program the other day. She was in the program also. She was in that position too. She couldn't pay for the subjects. All the subjects her child wanted to do. We in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, in the year of our Lord 2015, should not be faced with that kind of problem. We should be handling that with ease. Not having people reduce to that level. It's almost inhuman to expect a mother to accept that for $1 to few $100, her child cannot do certain subjects. It's unacceptable in any society. We can't do those things. We can't accept those things, and we must speak out against them every time we hear about them. It's terrible. And on the other hand now, you have people who could afford things, and you're letting them go. Not even charged for doing certain things, which involve thousands and millions of dollars. But a mother who needs $400 or $500 to pay some fees can't pay. Our society cannot be like that. It's wickedness, not management. It's wickedness. Once a government sees something like that, they should take action to deal with it. We saw this a long time ago. That's why we said, once we are in office, we will pay all the fees. We don't want one single individual to have to cut back on the exams that they're supposed to take. Our society cannot afford that. Because that child could become a great contributor to the society at some time. That same child who cannot able to go on to our subjects could become a doctor or the prime minister or anything that she wants. And to be denied for a few $100, it's really a crime. You know, we have said so many things we're going to do for the first year in operation. That is one of them, to make sure that we cover all the children in the subjects. We'll do that the very first time we get into office. That will be done. We're going to do certain things in relation to bananas. We're going to do lots of things in relation to the health sector. There ain't going to be no problem with getting money for drugs at the hospital. That ain't going to happen under new NDP administration. We're not going to have that kind of problem. And those persons who want to put their hand in taxpayers' money, they will find their hand very hot. We are not going to tolerate it. A lot of the losses we are having now and lack of revenue is because of theft and corruption. And we intend to deal with that. Because those same things you want to pay, like the fees and so on, if people stealing that money, you won't get it. We have to collect our revenues in order to be able to do it. And I spoke a couple of days ago about this thing about bringing in materials here. And I'm going to speak about it again tonight until people understand the issue. Millions of dollars have been ordered from one firm in Jamaica to hand out for people in election time. Lumber and Gabonite and so on. Millions of dollars from one company in Jamaica. The last figure I saw somewhere in the area of $13 to $15 million being brought in to discuss, being brought in materials. But who paying for it? It's a loan, you know, in the first case, because it's been financed by Petro-Caribbean. The second thing too is that is given out to people. But who paying the loan? It's we. The taxpayers who paying the loan. The same bank where the money I'm asking about the directors. That is the same NCB that was sold. And we borrowed $100 million before it was sold. Those loans, if they've been collected, could have helped pay off that $100 million, but it's you paying it. And I'm appealing to you as Vincentians, appealing to you as citizens of this country, and telling you that we are prepared to take the right road in terms of how St. Vincent and the Grenadines should be governed in the interest of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. There's too much poverty around. Too many people who just can't make ends meet, don't care what they do. And when our country like that, people can't perform. And as more people lose jobs, there's more depression in our society. There's more crime in our society. Because people don't have anything to hold on to. You think it's easy for a lady to watch her 3 children and she don't have nothing at all to give them? It can't be easy. And we must be concerned about these day-to-day issues. Because a person like that finds it difficult to function, even in a job, when she has this kind of problem. But even now when you have a job, sometimes it still can't cover the cost of what you need. Think of those who have no job at all and have children. It ain't no point to ask them, oh, you shouldn't have so much trouble with children. They don't have them. They have them already, and therefore our society has a requirement to meet their needs as best we can. And we take that approach in looking at a lot of these matters that confront us here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I ain't want to cuss nobody who this and who that, and I ain't in them things. Those things don't carry us anywhere. You know? I hear so many people discuss me. I don't bother. The other day, a fella called me on the radio station to ask me something Frank de Silva said about me. I know he discussed me all the time. I say, who named Frank? And I tell him that thing. But he means nothing where I'm coming from. And I want to say to our people, I want to urge you to give us that opportunity to represent you in the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I promise you that we will work very hard and very honestly in carrying out the governance of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I make that solemn promise to you, not just tonight. I'm making it all the time. Because I don't believe that our country can progress if we don't take certain actions. I don't believe we'll get out of this economic mess we have if we don't take certain decisions. I don't believe that our people will be better off if we don't take certain decisions. All I can see is if we don't have an opportunity to take it, things will get worse and worse. You know, I've been in a lot of negotiations like what have been saying in other countries. I had that opportunity when I was a member of the Caribbean Development Bank. For instance, when Belize had the same problems that we have now, I was part of the team that was selected in this region to go up to Belize to spend some time helping them to clear up what we want to go and clear up here in St. Vincent. I worked on that in Belize. I worked on that in Grenada. I worked on that in Barbados. When Prime Minister Sandiford had his problems, his fiscal problems, I was part of the team that went to advise Prime Minister Sandiford of Barbados. We're the ones of our group who recommended to him because they wanted to devalue the Barbados dollar. We said no, don't devalue the dollar. Ask the civil servants to accept something lesser now and they pay them back later. And they were able to do that and save the value of the Barbados dollar. What I'm trying to say to you, I have a lot of experience in other countries in the same matters that we have to deal with now in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I had an opportunity in at least 3 other Caribbean countries to address the same kind of fiscal and other issues that we have here now in St. Vincent. So I ain't coming as no lawyer. Economics is a different discipline. A lawyer can't do what I can do. He could carry it to court. But even that I could do too. I could carry it to court. But I can't defend you. But in terms of the economy, I can advise as to the best approach to take to get us out of the trouble that we now face. And that I promise on behalf of this team that is here with me. We've been together long enough now. We know one another well. And we are pretty clear as to our position on the various problems faced by the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good night. May God bless you all.
Conquering lion from the tribe of Judah. Conquering and to conquer.